What is up, everybody? Back out in the shop today, messing around with Project Gold Dust. Today we are gonna get the bed off the truck so I can start doing the fuel system. We're gonna add a Walbro 450 to the tank. Got that from SouthBay Fuel Injectors, where I get all of my fuel injection stuff. Go check them out. I'll put a link in the description below. Excuse me, I just ran down the stairs. And we're gonna get this off. Hopefully, I don't know. I don't know enough about these trucks to know what I'm gonna get myself into. I know there's obviously gonna be some connectors I need to disconnect underneath the back of the truck. The filler tube will have to get disconnected, and then whatever bed bolts are in it. I think there's 6 bed bolts in it. So I'm gonna get all that unhooked real quick. I'm gonna spray down the bolts, get the bolts out of it, and then I'll get this bed up off the truck. I'm gonna use the lift. I'm gonna try and put the arms underneath each 4 corners of the bed and try and just lift it off the truck. So I'm gonna get this unbolted, and then we'll see if we can get this up in the air and get the truck rolled out from underneath of it. All right, so I got everything unbolted. Got the filler neck and everything off of it. There was one big connector underneath the bumper that I had to disconnect, and that was, get the 6 bolts out of it, and that was pretty much it. So anyways, I've got it lifted up in the air, and I'll show you. And this is how I did it. This probably isn't the best way. A lot of these, this one's actually pretty sturdy down here on the pinch weld, so I just slid it underneath it and lifted it up in the air. The bed sides aren't perfect anyways, so I just set it up on there and lifted her up in the air. But it's just going to make it easier for me to get to the fuel pump and all that. But yeah, and I think while I got this up in the air, once I get the truck out from underneath it, I think I'm going to go ahead and maybe wash the bottom side of this bed and maybe go ahead and undercoat all that. Excuse me. But yeah, I think I'm going to get it all undercoated. I'll just put some spray on stuff underneath it, mainly just to protect it, since I live in Missouri and everything sucks here. So anyways, let's roll this out from underneath the bed here. So we got the bed detached. It's up in the air. I don't know what that is. Grossness. I'll probably, I don't know why, but I'll go through and I'll clean all the back of the cab off, and it's just got junk all over it. I may end up trying to get a wire brush. Maybe I'll wire brush all this stuff and just go ahead and try and spray the bottom side of this frame rails here while I got everything off of it. But my main concern is getting to this. I don't know how I want to do this yet. I think from what it looks like, this one here is your feed. This one will be your return. So I'm thinking what I'll do is maybe just make that a vent here, and I'll just run a hose back and vent it off in behind the tire somewhere. There's obviously already a vent here. This is like a rollover or something. I'm not 100% sure. But this, oh look, there's the filler neck's cracked too. I'm gonna have to put a new tube on it. Dang it, that sucks. But yeah, so I may end up just drilling a hole, putting a bulkhead in it, and then just running a new hose with the -6 on it, and just rolling with it that way. But anyways, I'm gonna get all this cleaned up. I'll get this all vacuumed off, and then we'll kind of see what we're working with here. So I had a little idea here. So, like I said, this one obviously is bigger here than here. So this one is obviously the return. This one's obviously the feed. So my plan is to repurpose this one here as a return, and maybe just make this one a vent, like I said, and I'll just run a hose and stuff and just use that as a vent. But I was sitting here looking at this. I'm like, wait a minute. I wonder if this is the same feed size as like an LS, and I believe it is. And I had this little fitting here. It's supposed to have a little blue clip that like locks it in place once you slide it on the like factory rail, which I'm gonna have to find that clip. But this is -6, and here it slides into place right there, and then it should, like I said, should have this little blue clip, and it'll just lock it in. But this will get cut, and then I'll probably take a 90 off of this and then just run it up to the back side of the regulator there for the return line. That'll be easy. So anyways, I'm gonna keep trying to get this sending unit out of here. Alright, so I got the sending unit out. Don't mind all the junk all over my bench. Got some wires unhooked, positive, negative. I'm gonna attempt to use the factory wiring, the factory plug, and all that stuff to turn on the fuel pump. And then it's still got the factory Ford pump in it, so I'm gonna get that out. Like I said, this one here, it's actually a vent or return now, but I'm going to attempt to use it as a vent. I may end up, obviously I'll clean all this off, but I may end up just cutting this off and then welding it up. That because it still holds the deal for the fuel gauge. So I'm going to end up probably just leaving that on there, because obviously that's how the fuel gauge mounts. And then this one here will be the return. I'll probably end up cutting it up here and just putting a small piece of hose on it, just for the return piece. And then the new feed, which, you know, and I guess in all reality, I guess I could just use this as the feed still. Put the 450 pump here, and then just put a bulkhead in it for the return. That way I can use that factory feed line, and it's pretty big. I mean, big enough. So maybe that's what I'll do. Yeah, that's what I'll do. But I'm gonna go grab the 450 pump and start putting it in this sending unit here. So, got this in my vise here. I'm going to drill a hole because I'm going to put a -6 return in, I think just right here. So this is the feed. Yeah, this will be the feed. This one's going to get cut off, and I'm just going to weld this up. This one's going to go right here, and then this one, which I'll probably actually angle it maybe like this or something, and then it'll return down the frame rail. So get this hole cut, step it, and then we'll put that in there. Alright guys, so I got my sending unit all kind of rigged up here. We're gonna, I swear every time I turn this on, the darn heat comes on. Anyways, here's what I got. I know it's kind of a hodgepodge mess of something here. You can see here, let me set this down. So I put this banjo on here, and that's gonna be my return line, and then I just had an old stainless like nylon tube that should be good for fuel, obviously, because that's what it was made for. I'm just going to use that as my return line, and then I cut the bottom off of this and then hose clamp the pump to it. You can see there I've got a hose clamp to the pump, got a new piece of submersible fuel hose connecting it, and then new terminals here, like quick disconnect terminals if I ever need to pull the pump out, and then I don't have to worry about the lines hitting anything because they're insulated here. So I'm going to attempt to use all the factory connector and wiring there to turn the pump on, and I've got dirt on that. I need to clean that off. And then I've capped off the top of this, the vent, or the old return here. I capped the top of it off, and I've actually got it capped off at the bottom too. Shouldn't have anything come out of there. So anyways, I'm going to get this put back in the tank, and then I can start running all the lines and trying to figure out the wiring for the Phytech system to prime the pump. So I'm gonna get back to that. All right, got the sending unit back in it, and this is the line I ran for the return. I was curious if it was gonna hit anything, and I think it's gonna be all right. So that'll go on there like that, and that will be our return. And then pick up my mess here. My garage is a disaster. I'm kind of crammed in here. And then I got this guy. Probably need to put a little lube on that because it's got some O-rings in it actually. Inside this little, oh, finally the heat turned off. I've got some lubricant here. But yeah, inside this, got a little couple of O-rings there. It kind of makes it slide on a little easier. You know, you don't want to put your rubber on dry, but slide that on there like that. Now we're there. And then what I'll do is I've got a fuel line around here. This guy, this I believe is going to be my feed hose. So this will go like this. I'm trying to decide on it. I want to go this direction with it. Come on, guy. Come on, little buddy. Today, maybe. I think I'm having some troubles here. Maybe. Steady. Trying to do this one-handed. Kind of sucks. Oh, God bless America. Two-handed, like so. Not real sure why this won't go on here. Never had this much trouble with a hand fitting. Oh, there we go. Steady. That gonna do it? All right. So that is on there, and what I'll probably do is I'll run this line, which I've still got to take the factory lines out. I'm hoping this doesn't get in the way of, nah, it should be good, because where's the second set of holes? So this is one there. And then the bed sits on one of these spots. Maybe in here. I don't know. Hopefully this doesn't get in the way of anything up there. It should be alright. Because I think the bed sits here. So all this right here should be open, so yeah, that should be fine. And then what I'll do is I'll take this and run it up with the other fuel line as nicely as I can. You know, just like that, all nice and neat. Get out of there! You get the idea. But I still got to take the stock fuel lines out somehow or another. I'm probably just going to cut them all out because I don't care to save them. And then once I get it up in the air again, oh hey, there's the camera. Once I get it back up in the air again, then I will route everything a little better and zip tie everything together so it's up and out of the way. And then I think this is one of my stock fuel lines things, some jigs here. Didn't work. Yeah, that's one of them. So I gotta knock that out. Anyways, got the sending unit back in it, new fittings, all that such, new pump in it, so we should be good there. Like I said, I am gonna try and use all this stock connectors and such there. I'm gonna snap that back in place. And then I'll probably end up splicing into the wiring up here somewhere, if I can, to use, because the Phytech will turn on the fuel pump and not the stock stuff anymore. So yeah, that'll do it. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Keep following along as we keep making progress on old Project Gold Dust here.